Rev up your engines! I've returned back to Tennessee. Wiser and unfortunately about 10 pounds heavier, those New Englanders. Now I'm on a strict diet. And the Matrix, of course, had no problems at all other than it uses gasoline, so we gotta stop every so often to fill the thing up. But I do have to say I have a gripe about driving here from Rhode Island back to Tennessee. I went through New York State and New Jersey. As soon as I got to New York State, they started charging me to drive on the road. The road quality went down the toilet, full of holes. The same thing in New Jersey. They make you pay for driving over their bridges. I'm glad I'm back to Tennessee, the volunteer state. All I have to say is we don't charge other people to come to Tennessee and drive on our roads or go over our bridges. The people on the East Coast, you ought to lighten up with all those tolls. What is this, the 1700s where there's a little toll gate on every road that you gotta pay? Hey, they pay taxes up the wazoo on the East Coast and they charge them to drive on the roads and use the bridges. That's America gone wrong. And they even took the jobs away from the people collected the money. It was all done by computers. I got back here in Tennessee, I got bills I gotta pay for driving on the roads and going over bridges. Reminds me when I was growing up in New York State. They had a Grand Island Bridge that went between Buffalo and Niagara Falls, right? It was like 25 cents originally. And they said, we're only gonna charge till the bridge is paid for. But then they said, oh, well, you gotta pay for the upkeep of the bridge. And then they said, oh, you gotta pay the salary of the people collecting the money. Well, guess what? They got rid of all the people. Now it's all done by computers, and they charge you $2 instead. It's no wonder a lot of people are moving to Tennessee and Texas these days. And I don't blame them. I did that 45 years ago. Went from New York to Texas. But the people on the East Coast were very friendly, met a lot of interesting people. Some were immigrants from other countries who made it big in the United States. It shows this country still works if it's just left alone by the politicians who have no idea what they're doing. I even had one guy come. He was in the Special Operations Airborne down the street here at 101st Airborne in Clarksville. He came from Africa, got a college education when he was done, and now he's graduated from law school. If people only put their minds to it, the system works. Just let's leave the politicians out of it. Leave everything out of it except fair competition for everyone. But I do have to say I feel sorry for the young people living on the East Coast. My fans come and visit me when I was in Rhode Island. And a lot of these young people, they were really mad because they couldn't afford to buy a house anymore with the outrageous inflation that goes on in house prices on the East Coast. I met people that were married, but they had to do their parents' cellar over. They were living in the cellar. They can't afford to buy a house. And that's un-American. Inflation that's coming up raised the prices of cars astronomically. It's raised the prices of houses astronomically. It's even raised the prices of used cars astronomically. That's why I'm continuing to help everybody out with their car problems. Don't buy a car today unless you absolutely have to. Keep your old one going. I'm here to help you fixing those things. You got questions, call me, email me. And if you live near Clarksville, feel free to set an appointment to me check your car out. Because I'm back in Clarksville. I'm glad I'm back. I like having vacations here and there. It was a working vacation. I still made videos and helped people out on the East Coast. But I feel a lot more at home here. So now that I'm back, I'll get my work boots out and get to work. See if tools work. See if products are worthwhile. While I was gone, a bunch of stuff came like this Craftsman air compressor. I'm trying that out and I'll tell you if it's worthwhile or not. And tons of other products came like these LED fog lamps that I'm trying out. And this crazy borescope came. Put your cell phone here. Check it out. You can move it whatever angle you want. When you use these things, it's very hard to point them where you want. Not with this thing. You can move it all over the place. Twist it a little, back and forth. It's a cool little thing. Let's hope it works. Because I'm not going to talk about this stuff until I actually test it out. Since I was gone for 2 months to Rhode Island, a lot of stuff is backed up and I'm starting to test them now. And I'll tell you whether they're good or not in the upcoming months. And here's another tool I got I can't wait to test out. It's an electronic stethoscope. Comes with the long one and a short one. So you can reach around and you can hear sounds. I can hear them now. Tap it. Seems to work pretty good, so I'm going to be trying this out. Now, as long as I'm back, let's see how my Celica fared. It's been sitting. Nobody's been using it while I've been gone. Let's see if it starts. 27 years old and it still runs like a champ, even though it's been sitting for months. And of course, I'm doing my live car talk on YouTube Live to help everybody worldwide with their car problems. And I'm going back to my original time, which is every Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time, Chicago time. But not Eastern Tennessee. It's kind of weird. Eastern Tennessee is Eastern Time and Western Tennessee is Central Time. And I'll also be doing my regular car talk Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. So if you got a question, and join in on the fun every Thursdays and Saturdays. You can't beat YouTube Live. It's free. Anybody can access it. You got a question you want me to answer? The more the merrier. So here I am, back to help everyone out. Only the location has changed. I do have to say though, I feel more comfortable in Tennessee. Taxation without representation. Heck, less taxation, period. Less rules for cars. We don't have to get them inspected here unless you live in Nashville, and even that might change. Scotty's back in Tennessee now. Everybody in Tennessee, hey, you got any problems? Just email me. We'll see if we can set up a time to check out your car. Because I hate seeing people getting ripped off either on repairs or buying the wrong vehicle. I'm here to help everybody. And believe me, today with the price of new and used cars being so high, it's not a smart thing to buy a used or new car today. You want to keep your old one running. Like this old thing, if you remember it, well, it always had this dent, but this is a brand new dent that my grandson did. It's amazing the damage a trailer hitch can do if you're backing up fast and not looking where you're going. Oh well, the young may learn one day. So I met a lot of nice people in Rhode Island on the East Coast, had fun boat rides, met some interesting people with interesting cars. But I'm glad to be back home with my garage so I can get back to using my hands and not just my head to help everybody out. And here comes my wife, so off to a different type of work now. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Kyle Jason 98 says, why do American cars fail in terms of reliability? It's because of our crazy capitalistic system. Profit, profit. You got to make more profit. You can't make the same profit every year. Every year you got to make more and more. And now there's the point that the only way they can make more profit is making really crappy cars, making them cheaper, and saving money building them because they've already cut everything else they possibly can. They cut the people's pays of the workers, and so quality's the last thing they got left that they can flush down the toilet. I remember years ago I talked to an engineer, and this was decades ago, and he said that General Motors had done some studies, and this was decades ago, and they said that they were 25% better than the Fords, better quality. So what did the General Motors guys do? They had a meeting and said, we're 25% better than Fords. Well, we're spending too much money building them. So let's start cutting what it costs us to build them. And then of course today their quality is actually lower than Ford. It's a capitalist mentality. That's what people always wonder, how can the Japanese do it? Well, it's a different culture anyways. But they think decades ahead. The American companies, they're thinking of the next quarterly stock price. And of course, if you look at the modern American corporations, who's the CEO today? It's like a game of hot potato. You're the CEO, you're the CEO. They come, they go. They've lost their minds in terms of what they should be doing, making quality products at a good price that lasts. They're just thinking profit, 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 profit. Look at this coronavirus stuff. They can't build them because they screwed up with their chips because they were too greedy and didn't pay the chip manufacturers enough, and they went for them when they didn't build cars, and now they want to build them, and the chip manufacturers go back to them saying, you're just buying our cheap chips. We're going to make our expensive ones to the gamers and to people that pay us a lot of money for the chips, and that don't bill us and pay us 6 months later, that pay us cash on a barrelhead. That's one of the main reasons the quality's bad. It's just plain capitalistic greed, and these people have fallen into it, and then they end up making horrible products. It's sad but true. At my old house, I didn't bring them. I had 100 ceiling fans. They were the old ones that were made out of cast iron. They were heavy. They could last for hundreds of years, right? The new ones are all junk, stamped metal. You can hear them rattle when you turn them on. Rattle, rattle, rattle. You can see they fall apart. The old ones that last forever, they don't want something that lasts forever. They want to make them cheap, and they want to charge more money for it. And that's the problem with American cars too. Well, if you're a Mazda fan, sad day for you. They're discontinuing the Mazda CX-3 and the Mazda 6 because of lowering sales. This is going to happen with a lot of companies. They'll start shrinking the models. I mean, do they really need 50 different models? Just the other day I laughed with my wife driving down to visit my son in Massachusetts, and what passes us? It looks like a Toyota Camry. Then I look at the back, it's a Mercedes-Benz. They all look the same these days. And why would a company make 15 or 18 or 27 different models when people want transportation devices? You don't really need to make so many different ones. And it's so ultra competitive, compact, and smaller SUVs, of which these are, they're going to have to start cutting some models because it doesn't make any sense to make all these different models. They have to tool it up. When Ford has a Model T, he said you get any color you want as long as it's black. He said that for a while too. And he sold an awful lot of them. So probably a good thing that they're getting rid of a bunch of them. They all look the same anyway. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.